Hamid out again, fouled by Davy Dalton here. Trevor tries to do the same thing again. Christy Burton gets his foot to it, but this is a costly error by Davy Dalton, who had a brilliant game. With Anthony Rainbow outside him, kicks the ball straight into the Hogan stand, and from the resultant sideline kick by Ollie Murphy, the ball comes in, and Davy again, unfortunately for him, unchallenged, misses it. Several Meath players in there, Colin Kyle and Brendan Riley, comes out to Trevor and he flicks it in from close range, and that of course was the goal that brought the game to extra time.
Colin, this was a marvellously sporting game, as has been said in the interviews there. There was a sending off, and it looked harmless enough. Now, what did you make of it? How did you read it? Well,
I thought it was strange. I couldn't figure out at all at the time what the sending off was for. Graham Gertie comes in along the end line and is obviously fouled himself, doesn't get a free, takes out his frustration by foot tripping Glenn Ryan. Now, you know, he seems at the time not to know what the referee wants to speak to him about. You can see that he's been clearly pulled there, and certainly should have been a free in. Then definitely pulls across Glenn Ryan. Harmless enough. I thought that referee might have been going to book him, and then he puts him off, which seemed a little bit harsh now at the time. Maybe there was words between them, maybe there was something else, but on the face of it, it didn't look to be a very, very serious challenge.
OK, let's move on. The next goal from Kildare.
Yes.
I'm sure you enjoyed this one.
Well, I didn't really, but Anthony Rainbow gives in a high ball, and Brian Murphy gets up behind Martin O'Connell and flicks down to Willie McCreary, who had got inside Jimmy McGuinness. And Willie had a good bit of work to do there. Willie, from a great racing family, of course, finishes like a thoroughbred. Two Meath players, Conor Martin and Jimmy McGuinness, trying to close him down. He sticks it away very well. He had a great game today as well, Willie McCreary. Worked very, very hard.
I'm sure at all this stage, Colin, you were convinced that Kildare had it won, that Meath were gone.
Yes, as I say, Kildare were playing the better football. And Meath were struggling to get back into the game and struggling to get back into the game. Of course, at this stage, Meath now had 15 players. They were back up to their full complement because it was a new game. But in that first period of extra time, Kildare had 1 goal and 3 points, and Meath had no reply to that at all. So Meath players looked tired and they looked a bit down at half-time, and you were saying to yourself, well, this is finally it. And then they came out, and then we had Jody.
And then we had Jody. I mean, what an incredible match he had when he came on.
Absolutely incredible. I think that Jody is going to be taking pilgrimages to Ballinlough now, and he's going to bless anybody that comes there, because anyone that can play like this, he just kicked points for sport. And, you know, none of them, he kicked 4 in a row, none of them were easy. They were all from at least 40 metres out. And he single-handedly sort of dragged Meath back into the game and then put them 1 point in front. He dropped the ball short into the goalie. It comes down the field. Niall Buckley kicks in the resulting free. Paul McCormick, certainly in the square, but maybe I shouldn't complain about that. Gets his hand to it, puts it over the bar. A draw, a replay, and another great day to look forward to, because, as I say, this was just absolutely fantastic, the game.
Sure. We were certainly looking forward to it, because now at this stage we know it can go either way, and that's been proved over the 2 matches so far. Let's look at the man of the match. Our prize, of course, for the man of the match is a lovely gold watch, and there it is. Colin, who gets the gold watch from this game?
Well, I'd love to give several man of the match awards for this game, because the utter fearlessness and bravery of players on both sides was incredible, and we had great displays by a lot of Kildare men. I thought Davy Dalton, apart from a couple of mistakes, Christy Burton saved them on 2 occasions the first period of extra time. Eddie McCormick had a smashing match. Then for Meath, you had the likes of Trevor Giles scoring 2 goals and 8 points. Colin Coyle had a good game. He had to go off at the end of the match. Jody came on and did his thing. But for me, the player from start to finish, up and down the field, and during extra time as well, was Niall Buckley. He just was phenomenal. John McDermott came into it well from Meath and helped wrest back control of midfield in the second period of extra time. But Niall Buckley had an incredible match, really, from start to finish.
OK, well, on a day when there were, as you said, incredible performances, Niall Buckley's one stood out above all the rest. Finally, Colin, before we close on this match, people will say that in 2 games Kildare have failed to beat Meath. On the other hand, in 2 games, Meath have failed to shake off Kildare.
I'd say Meath are beginning to get a bit worried about Kildare at this stage now, because they just can't get rid of them. But, you know, Kildare are going to look back on this match and they're going to say, we're in front by 5 points in the first half, 5 points in the second half, 6 points ahead in extra time, and we still couldn't finish these so-and-so's off. So what are we going to do now? But
Plus,
Meath,
I mean, Kildare had an incredible number of wides in that match.
yeah, Kildare had 15 wides during normal time. Meath had only 9. And, you know, that was a sign of the possession that Kildare enjoyed, particularly in the second half of the match. But coming into this game, I really thought that Meath would win it because I thought that the Meath backs would close down the Kildare forwards. As it turned out, they weren't able to close them down.
Yeah.
They scored 2 goals and 13 points, which should be enough really to win any game.
Maybe the next day.
You know, I better stick with Meath at this stage, but people would say, well, he would say that, wouldn't he?
Colin, thank you very much for the moment. Well, next we're going to turn our attention up north